The name of the show is The Way to Go. My name is Alan Bendich. I'm going to be your host. Tonight's guest is Max Bendich.
How are you, my darling son?
Hi, Pop.
Try and get your hand back.
You know, they say that a firm handshake is a sign of health. Did you know that? I mean, I actually heard that.
Thank you for telling me.
Yeah.
I feel healthy, and
Right.
I always want to feel healthy.
Yeah.
Shake hands with me.
Oh, no. Okay. So, Dad, you look great.
All right.
Everything good?
Everything is wonderful. Really wonderful.
I know. And today, thank God, Matt Sullivan got back to me saying that Scriptless is going to be on TV now. I'm so excited. And we got a weekend slot. I'm so excited, Bob. Aren't you? Isn't it great?
Alan,
Yes.
we started off a long time ago,
Right.
and all of a sudden, it's quieting down a little.
Yeah.
And soon,
But the good thing is also, the one thing is that finally we got an editor. Because for like months we didn't have an editor. And now we have the editor, and that's Jim. Thank God for Jim. Because it was...
and what does he see? Wait,
Yeah.
does he see things that, in other words, that they can have, just as it was photographed,
Shot, right.
or we have to take out this and put something
Well, yeah,
else?
what he does, well, basically we use two cameras.
Yes.
And since it's scriptless, that's the best way to do it, because at least, you know, we have 2 points of view with the same dialogue, so we can use the same sound for 2 different cameras. So it makes it easier to edit. So he can go from one. So what he does is he puts the two images up on his computer, and then he goes back and forth, you know, and he switches the point of view. And if there's something that looks better in one than the other, he uses that shot, but it's the same sound, and he goes back and forth and back and forth. And I watch him. I spend my Saturdays with him working on it.
Now, from what you're just telling me,
Yes.
either this or that,
Right.
what happens to the one that's not done?
Well, the thing is, he takes
all that,
like, let's say when you're talking,
yes,
you know, most of the time the camera would be on you,
Right.
but there's another camera on me when
Right.
I'm talking.
Yes.
So he would switch, and whatever looks better. I mean, even if you're listening, he might have you listening while I'm talking, but it's the image that makes the most sense, and there's an art to it. And then he throws in some sound effects, and then it's some music, some like light music that you won't even notice, but it enhances the image. And I'm telling you, it's interesting. I never got involved in editing before, and it's an interesting process.
but there are many things besides being the director.
Yeah.
You have to know everything about everything.
Hey.
No, don't you?
No, you do, but you know, I think that this is the first time that I ever got involved in any of this kind of stuff, except as acting. You know, so to be a director and also then watching it as it's being edited, it's good. And I know that our cinematographer Lou Simons and Matt. Is it Bilzak? I don't know how to pronounce his last name. How do you pronounce it? Yeah, there it is. You know, they want to see it too, because, you know, they're camera
That's
people.
right.
They're working the cameras, and now they're gonna, like, Lou's gonna finally see stuff that we shot like a year ago almost, you know, or even, you know, around a year ago. So it's probably better for them to see it sooner rather than later, so they could see, you know, if they're capturing the image exactly the way they want to.
And it's the way they want to, not the way,
And the way I want to, too, right.
We get me,
Yes.
we get hints that if you do this or if you do that.
Yeah, like cheat this way a little bit, cheat
right,
this way.
no,
like
am I
move
right?
like this, but
And
you're
that-
talking like this so the camera can see your face.
And no
Something
one
like
else
that.
notices. I notice it
Right.
because I'm watching you or
Right.
you're watching me.
Right.
And look, that's how it's supposed to be.
Right. Making it up is, I mean, like it's you know, it's only a paper moon, you know, it's not real, you know, it's just an image.
Let me hear you sing.
No, I'm not saying nothing.
It's only a paper moon.
But it is, I just hope there's going to be some interesting scenes, though. I mean, I've been watching some of the stuff from like episode 3 and 4, and some of the stuff is pretty powerful, and I'm really excited, and that'll be coming around soon. So,
But the whole thing is, I get hints from you.
right.
You know, frankly, you know more about me than I do. Why?
Right.
Because
I could read your mind. No, just kidding.
everything, here's the way I feel. I've been
Right.
figuring that a long time. I told that to the people there.
Right.
Oh, I forgot this. I forgot that. You don't. Why? Because it's more important. That might have been more important.
Right.
To me, it wasn't. And little by little, it added up to this, what we are doing now, back and forth. And I'm learning a lot about myself
Right.
from you, Alan.
And another thing is, we're up for Best New Series, which is nice, for Scriptless. And they used the scene that you were in, Pop, when Noah Forrest comes in with, and he plays Sam, and he comes in with Mimi, So that's interesting, Sam is your son-in-law, and Mimi's your daughter in real life. But, and it's great, all this stuff. You're enjoying yourself, right? The process is,
Alan, there isn't a moment, I'm seriously,
right.
that I'm not enjoying myself.
I know.
And why? I'm dreaming. Alan, no kidding. At my age, and that is who does this?
Well, at your age, who does anything? There's not many people who are 100 years old.
No, and then gets a new job.
I know. And even with Scriptless MD, now you're playing the grandfather of one of the guys that's in quotes one of the stars of the show, and it's interesting. And you're funny, Pop. That one line that you leave after you're being so supportive, and then you say that one line, and I don't want to say what that line is.
No,
and it is funny.
Oh, how do I get that one line right from the action,
right.
and also the way you're talking to me?
Right.
That's the only line I could think of that.
Right.
And again,
it works.
It works, Alan.
And the other thing is, you wind up I just give people usually like a little synopsis of what I want for the scene, and then I throw them out. Then I throw them on the stage, and it's like sink or swim.
One of the most important things you have taught me. How does that go? Silence between scenes.
Right. It's good to listen. It's important to listen.
Oh, silent air.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, dead air.
Dead air. When you told me about dead air,
yeah.
And boy, I still remember a frightening thing actually when I went out one time in a scene in the rain, and I came to.
That was the one when you were with Stephen Baldwin.
I know.
In Tapestry.
Right. And here I'm talking, and nobody's answering me. And Alan, if you don't think I was shivering.
Right. And it turned out you did it perfectly. But that's a separate issue.
It was perfect. Why? I decided I'm gonna get, even if he doesn't say a word,
right.
I'm gonna be doing it.
Right.
And here I'm talking and nothing is happening.
Right.
And then later on to be told that he would come on. He came out. When he came out, come on, we'll have to do it again. And the cameraman is telling him it's perfect. It's perfect.
But that's what we always say, that even as I've heard this all my life that I've been acting, even in Hollywood, that was perfect. Let's do it again. It's like, even though everyone wants another shot, or they want to have some, for protection or for just to make sure that they, that it worked. But the other thing that's interesting is you think you got a shot, and then all of a sudden you're looking at the editing, and then you see, there's a mic stand sticking out, and it's like, we didn't see that before. But that's a tough thing.
That shouldn't concern me.
I know, you're the actor.
No, that's it. That's
the actor,
Alan.
And your acting is great. When we had one of the episodes is called Fathers and Sons.
Yes.
And one of the scenes is that we're celebrating your 100th birthday. This is when you were still 99 years old, and you were great. And you even sing "Happy Birthday" to me. That's what you sang, and you sang it great. And we had an entire table of people that were celebrating your birthday. And I'm thinking, how did I get all these people together? We have a large cast, right? It's crazy.
That's the whole thing. Alan, all right.
Yeah, it's a large cast. And and some of them are doing unbelievable work. Like, we used to have this guy, Noah Forrest, who played Sam. And he's going to be on this new AMC thing, The Making of the Mob, and it's like a brand new series. And he's playing Carlo Gambino. He's playing he's one of the stars of this thing on AMC TV. And he was playing my brother on Scriptless, and then we have this other person, Susan Campanera, and she does a one-woman show, but she's doing, I guess it's My Big Gay Italian Wedding or something like this. And it's another one of these interesting off-Broadway plays that's on. And, all these people either have been on this show, The Way to Go, or on Scriptless.
And we had a good crew, Alan. We had a good crew working.
Right.
We had a good crew acting.
Yeah.
We never saw each other in our lives.
Well, some of those people you did, because
right.
some of the same people were on Scriptless that were on Scriptless MD.
No, I mean, even from the beginning.
Oh, from the beginning, right.
From the beginning here, and how you got us together as a family. That is the whole thing, as a family. And I had to think of myself, how was I 40, 50 years ago, or 20, am I doing the right thing? And
and then the funny part was that somewhere along the line, maybe because Greg Kritikos, one of our actors, he plays a really good like gangster. All of a sudden, the show turned to become like a gangster show, you know. And then you became like the head of the gangsters. And it was like, of all people, you're the head of the gangsters. You know?
Little by little, I thought about that,
yeah.
and I have to change my way I'm doing things,
right.
the way they. And I don't know.
You did a great job.
And I decided this is how it's going to be.
I mean, you do this, stay away from my kids. And it was like, oh my God, you know, you're screaming at Greg.
My kids, please. What else have I got?
I mean, it was so funny. So I'm excited. You know, we're going to be showing the shows, I guess, for 3 weeks at a time. And I'm really looking forward to Scriptless MD. We're going to make some, you know, Dina has suggested some, you know, our production manager suggested certain things to make it even better, and I'm going to take her ideas to heart, because we should make it better. You want it better too, right? I mean,
look, no kidding. Not the idea you're my son. You're the director.
right?
Without you, nothing happens. I feel it that way.
Right.
Because, you know, I have to be doing this and doing that,
right.
and how I have to be doing it correctly.
Right, that's true.
And because I hate, one thing I hate, cut!
Let's do it again. Go back to one. Right.
Start it again.
Right.
And I hate that word. And lately we haven't heard it.
I know. I mean,
Alan,
it's really
I haven't heard that word in a long time.
That's it.
And I'm getting used to it. And it has to only go one way with me. I mean, better.
And it is.
I know.
I mean, and we have some new actors. But one thing that was weird is that 2 people didn't show up on Sunday, and that was like threw me off my game a little bit, because. But the idea of it being scriptless was that, you know, we could adjust, you know, and it threw me off a little bit. Jim came over to me and said, "Listen, let's just shift it this way. We could change it a little bit. You know, the story doesn't have to change."
And what do you call it again? Not you have no script, but
improv.
Alan, with improv. Many years ago, we used to go to. Mom and I went to Las Vegas.
Right.
And we go to one of the, besides gambling, we saw shows. Right. And there was a show there almost every time we went. Come to the improv.
Right.
And we would go up there, and the place would be mobbed. And all you saw was see some people sitting there, never heard of it, and they'd put on a show, Alan. How, in other words, you would say something, and he would come up with the best thing. Right. How he could do that, and that's what has been happening to me.
Right.
You were giving me little hints over here, and about the way you're telling me about my son and everything else.
Right.
It was a natural thing to do if that's what the story was. If the story was that way, I'm trying to do the best.
Right, and to me, the most important thing is that people look like they're connected in some way. You know, I mean, to me, the words are secondary. It's like if 2 people are just, you know, like if it looks like it's a real conversation going on, you know, or you know, you're looking and it seems real, then I think I've done what I had to do.
Alan, and I've been watching movies differently.
Right.
And that's what the whole thing is, that you have to see the people who are doing the talking, and then when it cuts, it goes to something else, and then it cuts to something else, and goes back again to the same people that are doing the talking again, only they're in a different way and everything else. Yeah. And it's on your head. That's the whole thing, how you could even think about it. Yeah. So many things, and eventually it comes out good.
Right.
Alan, it comes out good.
It is interesting, and it's interesting. And the whole thing of everyone buying into it too, like the whole cast gets into it, and everybody becomes part of it, and all of a sudden they think they're part of something else. It's like you think of something, and then all of a sudden everyone feels a part of that thing you just thought of, and it's like, wow, it just came out of my mind, and now.
Look, Alan, this is what I want to tell you. Remember, all of us are strangers. We know it, but all of us are strangers.
Right.
We have come together, and this is how I'm figuring. If you could make me feel the way I'm feeling, I'm sure you're making this person feel the same way, and this person, and if we're not in it, you get. They feel, Alan, they feel the same way. Why? Because they take instructions.
And the other thing is, I have the time of my life. I mean, I did one scene where, this guy who's playing Louis, he's the guy who's coming to the office, but he's there to fix the bathrooms. And one of the nurses thinks that he's a patient and brings her into an office. And I'm telling you, that scene, I think, is going to be, I hope it's as funny as, I couldn't even watch the scene. I was laughing so much because it was just too much. It was crazy.
I can even tell you something else. I shouldn't, but I'm going to tell you. Against myself, I don't care.
Yeah.
And you told me to say, now remember the word is yes. And remember it's yes. Now we're going to do this. And one word. And I'm talking. And they're all watching me.
Oh, no, I'll tell you what I said. I said to you, okay, this is scriptless. This isn't scriptless MD.
Right.
I said, did you have anything to do with Vinny's death? You say?
Yes.
Cut. I'm sorry, no. You're supposed to say no.
How many? And then again, wait a minute, again.
And then I would say something about, and then I'd ask you if you did something else and you're supposed to say no, and you said yes. And so back and forth.
Why did that word? I know it. One word.
I know.
We never spoke about this.
You know what
Why did that happen?
Because I don't think you really, maybe because we didn't spend enough time. That's another thing, like Dina's saying, to make sure that we prepare a little bit more for each one of the scenes. You probably weren't, because I didn't give you enough of the synopsis of the show, maybe you didn't realize why you're supposed to say no. You know, like, because you're trying to fool me that you had nothing to do with the death of this character. Meanwhile, you're the puppet master behind everything.
But one word. Here I could have sentences and sentences.
And you're supposed to be looking at me with, like honesty in your eyes.
That's
and saying,
right.
and lying through your teeth. But
yes.
No, cut. You're supposed to say no. And it was like,
Alan,
how many times did we do it?
I don't forget that, Alan. It still is on my mind, that one word. And I try my best never to.
I mean, it's funny now. It wasn't so funny the day we were shooting.
No, I know it. And I'm eating my heart out. Why am I sitting, Alan? I talk to myself. Why am I saying yes?
No, but it was confusing because you had to say no about one thing and yes about another. You just kept on flipping which ones you're supposed to say no and yes about.
All right. It may happen again, but so far it has. Really.
Well, you're playing a different part now.
Right.
But the other thing is, the interesting thing about the first season, or scriptless versus scriptless MD, is that everyone has, all the characters have the same name, but their characters are different. You know what I mean? Like you played Max in the first show, and now you're playing Max again. Pete Passero's playing Sonny, and he's Sonny in this show. We kept the same character names for the new show.
I don't. Yeah, I'm talking about. Maybe I shouldn't we? All I remember about direction and everything else. Before we went downtown with Mr. Baldwin and everything else.
Yes.
You and I would be rehearsing something.
I know.
And the scene was, I'm walking and there's a man screaming.
Right.
Right?
And
hollering, whatever it was. And I go
his
over
mother
and,
had died.
Huh?
The scene was that his mother had died and he was going, it was a terrible thing.
Well, I didn't know that.
Right.
And then...
And his mother was played by Tina Louise, who was on Gilligan's Island, who played Ginger on Gilligan's Island, and she was the person who was in this movie with you too.
Well,
so,
wait, and I went over.
Yeah.
And I walked. Oh, it was a rainy day.
Right.
I had a producer in back of me. He liked me. He liked me. Why I don't know.
Mike
and
is a
all
good
I
guy.
could see was nobody. It's jumping up and down. It's a rainy.
It's the exact opposite, right?
Yes, and a car is there.
And we practiced so much, and you did it. You did it the exact opposite than the way we practiced, and it was perfect.
I know. Wait.
I gave you the wrong direction.
Alan,
100%.
believe me.
100%.
The exact opposite. So I go over there. He pushes me out.
Right.
And he says, "It's the cameras are rolling."
Right.
And they're rolling, and I don't see a soul, no jumping up in the, and I'm walking.
Right.
I know there's a car, there's somebody in there,
Right.
and I go over, the window is open, and there's a man sitting there, and I made up my mind, what do? I'm going to follow him. I don't give a hang. He didn't say anything. I didn't say dead air or no dead air. And I said, excuse me, my son, can I help you? Or whatever the words were.
Are you okay, my son? Are you okay?
And I wait, and I wait. Not long, but each second is about a minute, and then nothing is happening.
Right.
Finally, he turned, and I said, we're not acting. The words are there.
Right.
The words don't change. Finally, he turns around and he says to me,
I'm okay.
yes, whatever I don't, I'm okay.
Right.
And he turns around again. Everything. So I said, hey, the talking is over. I think there has to be a little more time between that and myself, not dead air or no. And I waited just a long time, and I said, you could have fooled me. Right. And I didn't leave there yet, right. And I'm looking at it, and I walked away.
I remember.
Now, why would I have done that? I mean, scared.
No, you know why? Because I'll tell you why you did it. I think because you did what actors are supposed to do. You know, you reacted to the reacted to the other actor.
Alan, I was scared.
But you didn't. But for whatever reason, your fear didn't show on your face.
Yeah,
so
they didn't know.
That's what I just said. So your fear didn't show on your face. So you were acting.
And I walked away.
Right.
And then he said, let's do it over again.
But it was perfect.
And the guy said, it's perfect.
It was perfect. So, and you've had a couple
improv.
of perfect, yeah.
I know that improv is really is a wonderful thing. Right. Even in Kitay House, where I'm living, right. one time a month, they have improv.
Right.
And how do they do it over there? They give you a sentence. Now it's up to you to make some. What word? That everybody could know what it's all about. Only a word in there. And I was pretty good one time, and they called me up there, and I went up there. So I was there with improv, but most of the times, when I even look at movies, it isn't script, it's improv.
No, most movies are scripted. Most movies are script. But but from what I understand, like, a lot of famous movies have a lot of improv in it, but most movies are scripted. It might seem like there's such good actors that it seems like it's improv, but it is. Most movies, very few movies, I would say, are unscripted.
So I have a little opportunity once a month.
Right.
They give you an hour show every day, and all right, that 5 people are sitting there,
right.
And they. Who wants to be then? 2 more people we could use. And I went up there again.
Right.
And then he would talk to me and stop. And you'd have to, you put up your hand that you're going to answer it.
Right.
And I did all right. Maybe I goofed up a couple of times, but it didn't mean anything.
Right.
But again, Alan, we're now at a stage where we are a little professional already. No, it's good, Alan.
And you know what? It's interesting with my actors because I have like a troupe of actors,
yes.
And they've been with me now for about 11 episodes, and you know who are the really strong ones, and I'm always amazed, you know, especially some of these people who come up with like these emotional scenes and they're able to do it like that, you know.
That's right.
And they love it. You know, they're having such a good time. Everyone's having such a good time.
And you can get verification. You can get. I have a wonderful time.
Well, also, if you look at all the pictures on Facebook of you, which you don't have Facebook, you're surrounded by these beautiful women that want to take pictures of you. So I mean, what's not to like?
Alan, I like women. I know. I told you that. Why not? Like you said, why not?
Right. And what's not to like?
And little by little, and something else. I'm like the master of ceremonies in there, just because of my attitude with people. So somebody comes in with a wheelchair. No one is going to talk to
I
that
know.
person. Nobody. I know that
I know.
already. And I actually go over. That's why when you see me there,
Right.
everybody knows me.
Right. When I picked you up today, and I went up and, just checking the wardrobe, I wanted to make sure you looked dapper today. As we were leaving, everyone said goodbye. Everyone, and you're telling, I'm going to go on a TV show. Alan's the boss. I'm going with my son, the boss. He's going to, whatever. And, everyone is interested.
Everyone knows me.
Right.
Why? Because little by little, I help out somebody.
Right.
And I help out in a funny type of way, where sometimes there are 4 or 5 women in the elevator or me. Go down slowly. The odds are 4 to 1 now in my favor. Slow.
I know.
And even the operator of the
elevator
at the elevator is saying the same thing.
I know.
Oh, we know about that.
And it's good. And everyone, what's not to like? I mean, you present them. You're a person who everyone likes. That's
Alan,
just the way it
that's
is.
a good expression. What's there not to like? Alan, there are people, Alan, just the opposite of me.
I know.
Alan, and that hurt. No, that hurts because you're doing it against yourself.
Right.
You're saying.
Well, you always said this, Dad, about when I was a kid, that I was my own worst enemy, and that's what happens. People are, they put up roadblocks. Their behavior stops them from interacting with other people.
I forgot that expression. You're your worst.
I wish I could forget it. You used to say it to me all the time. But
you're your worst enemy.
That's it. But life is good, Pop, and that's what your hat says, right? Life is good.
There's no Alan. There's no other way.
I know.
Really, because one day is just the same as another. Here.
Why don't you take a sip? But it's true. And one day but the best day, even though one day is the same as the other, there's no day that's better than when we're shooting. You know what I mean? So you say one day is the same as the other, it's really not.
I'm not talking about, I'm talking about how to make that the whole day from waking up to going to sleep.
Right.
If you don't do one thing, you're doing something else.
Right.
Which comes together in the next hour or so.
But I would say this. One thing that you have that a lot of other people have, you have more variety in your life. I'm talking about, at least from where you live. Now, at least, a few times a month, we're shooting television shows. You know what I mean? It's like the most ridiculous thing. I can't believe we're doing it.
No, and then I've come out, I talk to myself. Why is this happening to me?
Right.
I look at people, the same people, nice, good people. This is happening, this is happening, this is happening. And they don't want to even look. And Alan, it hurts. Right. I don't know the people. I've seen them, but strangers is everything. Yet, I try my best. I actually, Alan, we have a place that open mic.
Right.
And I sing songs.
I know.
And
I know.
The only one, Alan,
I know.
who sings a song either in Yiddish or in English, and all of a sudden I would see somebody in a chair, and usually, and they can't hear a word, but her lips, so that. And I stop and I go over with the microphone.
I know.
And I give it to her.
You know how I know, Pop? I just saw this on one of our episodes on Wednesday. No, but it's true. Anyway, no, but I do know, and it's good because you do care about people, and you're motivated to make other people's lives better. And unfortunately, Pop, I'm now motivated to make our lives just a little bit worse. You know why, Pop?
I know.
Because I got one thing left to say. That's a wrap. Good night, folks.